for that?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's good to know. Yeah, so many jokes are flowing right now, I just can't. Let's go to the approval of the minutes.
I make a motion for Don to be vice chair.
Thank you, Janet. Second to Don?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the minutes.
Doing it.
Agreed. Thank you for doing it.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Staff, you guys really help, and I'm not pandering, but you guys, this isn't my daily speak, and it's really helpful, so thank you for doing what you do. All right, let's get to the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve or any discussion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve as stated.
I second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, item number 5, Land Development Code amendments. So would the county like to make a presentation?
So good morning. For the record, Anthony Rodriguez, Zoning Section Manager. We have two very relatively minor amendments for your consideration this morning. The first is related to parking requirements in our historic districts of Matlacha and Boca Grande. And the second is related to some updates to definitions in the county's flood ordinance, which is codified in Chapter 6. We have Katie Burgess here from the planning section and Billy Jacoby here from regulatory review and flood compliance to introduce those amendments and answer any questions you have. So if you don't have any questions before we start, I'll turn it over to Katie for introduction and explanation.
To the applicant, Katie?
Good morning, Kate Burgess, ASCP Principal Planner with the Planning Section. So this amendment is to allow a reduced parking standard in the historic districts within Boca Grande and Matlacha to foster redevelopment and general economic recovery post-hurricanes, mostly Hurricane Ian, but of course, you know, Helene and Milton as well. So basically, after the hurricanes, the county had a few property owners that were interested developing their properties, but they had trouble meeting the parking standards because of the sort of constrained area or, you know, constrained sites on the islands. So they've been unable to redevelop post-hurricane. So this amendment is to two sections, one relating to relief from zoning regulations, and that is in addition to the required parking. That is the second major amendment for this. So the relief to zoning regulations allows up to 20% relief, and then the Section 34/2020 allows basically the historic districts within Boca Grande and Matlacha to take advantage of the mixed-use overlay parking reductions. It also allows golf cart parking to be provided at a 1-to-1 ratio instead of, I believe now it's 2-to-1. So helps make the parking space a little bit smaller, easier to fit into more constrained sites. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time, but that's sort of the overview of these amendments.
Just one of the questions. The purpose of this is not to provide access for the restoration and remodeling and correcting the damage. It's simply just you cannot meet the current parking standards is all you're trying to do.
Correct.
Thank you.
Hank?
What's the basis for the 20% reduction versus 30 or more?
Anthony might be better suited to answer that one. I didn't have as much involvement in the standard zoning regulation reduction.
So the intent of the additional reduction, and I'm not sure that we have a specific rationale for the 20%, but it's to provide an extra relief valve for sites that are particularly constrained, recognizing that some of these sites, many of the sites in our historic districts are located within a pretty reasonable walking distance to one another. And so in the interest of recognizing that, that walkability, we're providing an additional relief. And this is, it's one of those things where some property owners may elect to take advantage of it, but some from an operational perspective may find that underparking their site is going to impact their business in a negative way in the long run. And so we're just providing a little bit more flexibility, and this process is available administratively. So in addition to your by right parking reduction in Chapter 34, which is on page 2 of the document before you, you have an additional administrative relief valve, which allows staff to put some eyes on it to make sure that the criteria that are outlined in here are met before
That's
getting
great.
that.
I support it. I just wondered if there is an example of that you've used in duplicating this 20%, that's all.
In our code currently, we have an administrative process to reduce parking by 10% where certain criteria are met. And so this is kind of, it's more than that, recognizing the specific walkability of these areas.
Good, thank you.
Don?
Similar question, what created the 1,320 foot?
Yeah.
That seems to be pretty specific.
1,320 feet is a quarter mile. Quarter mile just from a planning perspective is kind of an industry accepted pedestrian shed. It's about a 5-minute walk. And so recognizing that quarter mile is kind of an industry accepted standard, that's why we elected to apply it.
Thank you. Also, was this shared with the planning districts out there?
It has been, yeah. It's been, yes.
Lee?
No questions.
What attention is staff giving to parking as it relates to the rapid advancement of self-driving cars? Where a car picks you up and takes you and it's constant. Any consideration being given for that?
We have not considered that as part of this particular amendment. I think we're going to see we realize that our parking standards are a bit onerous depending on specific uses, and I think as part of a larger exercise, we're going to be examining those parking standards to take a more holistic look and a holistic amendment to those parking standards as part of our current land development code amendment cycle. So
It'd be impossible to quantify, but it is coming, and it should reduce the amount of vehicles. And another question I had is the change in the golf carts. If I'm understanding that correctly, instead of 2 to 1, where you could have 2 golf carts per parking space versus 1 cart per space. What's the thought there?
the code recognizes that golf carts are used on some county roadways, and so in recognition of that, the code allows a conversion rate of, you can meet 1 parking space requirement for your development by providing 2 golf cart spaces. In areas like Boca Grande in particular, where golf cart travel is a preeminent mode of transportation, we're taking away that conversion and we're allowing a 1-to-1. So it's a benefit to the property owners who are providing parking on site, because they can use smaller dimensions to park the golf carts and still count that space on a 1-to-1 basis instead of a 2 golf cart to 1 parking space basis.
So it's not a 9 by 18, it's 2, the smaller golf cart will count as a full parking space.
Correct. And often what you see is you see a 9 by 18 space, that's striped for a car, and then you'll see a line kind of down the middle of it. And so you can provide 2 golf cart spaces in one of those 9 by 18 spaces, or a car could use it as well.
That's what I'm used to seeing, and that'll continue.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Anything else?
Nope.
Do we have a motion? Oh, sorry, we have is this LDC parking? Historic district. If you'd like to take the lectern.
Good morning, I'm Jeff Wright with the Henderson Franklin Law Firm, here on behalf of the Boca Grande Health Clinic. We're here to express our support for the parking-related amendments in Chapter 22 and 34. here to answer any questions if you have them. I don't want to slow the momentum that I sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
I think you have the momentum, yeah, thank you.
See, no one else has given me a card. All right, then, now that we've heard from the public, do we have a motion on this agenda item 5A? Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. We have a motion to transmit as presented. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ray. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 5B, amendments to county flood ordinance definitions. Kind of expected a lot more attendance for that, but if the county would like to make the presentation.
For the record, Billy Jacoby, floodplain administrator. The intended outcome for this flood ordinance amendment is to alleviate permitting and plan review process burdens. The existing language in the most recent amendment to the county's floodplain ordinance 2230, amending 1509, contains language about a 12-month permit lookback for repair projects or elective renovation projects in FEMA's flood zone. This applies specifically to repetitive loss properties, known as REP loss. REP loss structures are structures that have incurred 2 or more paid flood insurance claims of $1,000 or more for each. Lee County participates in FEMA's voluntary CRS program, the Community Rating System program, which is a voluntary program that earns flood insurance discounts based on flood protection activities. The 12-month lookback is not a FEMA or CRS requirement. There currently is no CRS credit for this language in the county's ordinance because the minimum standard is 5 years. Staff is proposing to remove this language and clean up the existing language to be more consistent with FEMA's P758 substantial improvement and substantial damage guidance document. Removing the 12-month rep loss language will not impact CRS score, classification, or FEMA standing.
Anything else from the county? I see no one here from the public for this matter. Any questions for the county? Anybody? I have one question, and it's under the paragraph that starts with italicized substantial improvements. SI means any combination of repair, reconstruction, rehabilitation, alteration, addition, or other improvements, the cost of which equals or exceeds 50% of the market value of the structure before the structure had incurred substantial damage. Yep, that's fine. I'm good with that. I have no other comments. Anybody else have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as proposed.
Further discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Motion approves. Does the staff have any other business or? We got 3 months off. You know, you were working us pretty hard there in the fourth quarter. So we appreciate that, and chocolate chips will be sent to everyone's desk. All right, seeing no other business, move to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
We are adjourned. Thank you.